Taylor Swift, the story of a simple girl from the countryside who has become an international superstar with an estimated net worth of $570 million. So how did she achieve this? How has she managed to stay at the top, despite numerous controversies surrounding her? What makes her music stand out from others, and why the Iraq War had an indirect impact on her career? Stay tuned for How Does Taylor Swift Make Her Millions? Taylor Allison Swift was born on December 13, 1989, and named after American singer James Taylor. Her mother, Andrea Gardner Swift, was a homemaker who previously had worked in finance, and her father, Scott Kingsley Swift, worked as a stockbroker. Taylor spent her early years on a Christmas tree farm in Pennsylvania. At the age of 9, she became interested in musical theater. This wasn't a big surprise for Taylor's parents, as her grandmother was an opera singer. She had regularly taken vocal and acting lessons in New York, but sometime later, Taylor's focus shifted towards country music. So at the age of 11, together with her mother, she visited the city of Nashville in the state of Tennessee, which is widely known as the home of country music. Their goal was to submit demo tapes of Taylor's karaoke covers, but unfortunately, the trip didn't result in acquiring a record deal for our rising star. She went back home and suddenly understood what needs to be done in order to become a star. I realized that everyone in that town wanted to do what I wanted to do, so I kept thinking to myself, I need to figure out a way to be different. I need to have something to really bring to that town. That thing came to her at the age of 12, when a computer repairman, Ronnie Kremer, taught her how to write songs and play the guitar. In 2003, Swift's parents started working with a New York-based talent manager, Dan Dimtro. With his help, Taylor was finally given an artist development deal at the age of 13, and the family moved to, you guessed it, Nashville. There, she met Liz Rose, who further taught her the art of songwriting. According to Rose, the sessions were some of the easiest I've ever done. Basically, I was just her editor. She'd write about what was happening in school that day. She had such a clear vision of what she was trying to say, and she'd come in with the most incredible hooks. At the age of 14, Taylor became the youngest artist signed to the Sony ATV Tree publishing house, but later left because the labels hadn't taken her seriously due to her young age. In 2005, she signed a contract with freshly founded Big Machine Records, and her father purchased a 3% stake in that company for an estimated $120,000. Taylor Swift's first album, simply titled Taylor Swift, was released on October 24, 2006. It peaked at number 5 on the US Billboard 2000, where it spent record-breaking, at that time, 157 weeks. Taylor won many awards and accolades for Taylor Swift, but the real breakthrough was yet to come. In 2008, she released her second album, Fearless, and soon later 5 singles, such as You Belong With Me and Love Story. The second one was the first country song to top Billboard's Pop Songs chart, and that's how the image of the blonde girl with the guitar was born, and both parents and teenagers went crazy about her. Now you may ask, but why? What made her stand out from other artists? You see, the first group liked Taylor because of the good example she set for their children. An image of a simple country girl who doesn't curse or dress licentiously. In one sentence, a complete contradiction to the rappers and edgy pop artists of that era. Teenagers, on the other hand, loved the catchy music and relatable lyrics that told stories about growing up and finding true love, a theme that is often present in Disney animations. That's because Taylor based the lyrics of her songs on her own personal experiences, mixed with fairy tale motifs and elements of folklore. There was also a third reason behind Taylor's skyrocketing fame. As you probably know, the country genre has always been dominated by men. Seeing a young girl performing this type of music and gaining worldwide recognition was something pretty unusual back then, and still is, even today. But back to our story. Taylor's fame was rising at a very fast pace. Everything had been almost like in a fairy tale. But then came November of 2009 and the MTV Music Video Awards alongside of it. When Taylor was giving her acceptance speech for Best Female Video, Kanye West went on stage and grabbed a microphone from her saying,
Yo, Taylor, I'm really happy for you. I'm gonna let you finish. But Beyonce had one of the best videos of all time. One of the best videos of all time.
Fortunately, later in the show, when Beyoncé won in the category Video of the Year, she called back Taylor to the stage to let her finish. After the event, even Barack Obama condemned the actions of Kanye, calling him
He's a jackass.
But nonetheless, these circumstances contributed to another controversy which will be discussed later in the video. This wasn't the only bad thing that happened to Taylor back then. Around that time, unhealthy eating habits to maintain a slim figure that meets Hollywood standards were putting more stress on her. I was on the cover of a magazine, and the headline was like, "Pregnant at 18?" And it was because I had worn something that made my lower stomach look not flat. So I just registered that as punishment. Now comes the question, why does she care so much about what other people think of her? If, let's say, Kanye had been guided by what people would think of him, he certainly wouldn't have pulled that thing at the MVAs in 2009. Well, the reason is simple. Dixie Chicks, that founded in 1989 all-female band, was one of young Taylor Swift's favorites, and thanks to their influence, she decided to pursue country music. During the Chicks concert in London, just before the 2003 invasion of Iraq, lead vocalist of the band, Natalie Maines, told the audience at one point that Dixie Chicks are against the war and they are ashamed of George W. Bush's Texas roots. So, what went wrong? As you probably can guess, a significant portion of fans of country music identifies as right-wing. Yes, cancel culture went wrong. The band received major backlash at home and was blacklisted from a large chunk of radio stations, which eventually resulted in the demolition of their careers. Knowing what had happened to the Dixie Chicks, Taylor was extremely careful with what she was saying and shied away from any political commentary. Given that at the time, more and more celebrities were beginning to express their views on social media, Taylor's attitude had caught the attention of some media outlets, which later blamed her neutrality for Trump's win during the 2016 election. In 2010, Taylor made her first cinematic debut in Valentine's Day. But another great breakthrough in her career came 2 years later when she decided to move away from country music in favor of more pop-like beats. It was a bullseye. You see, at the beginning of the last decade, rock beats were losing the interest of teenagers rather quickly, and genres such as rap and pop were gaining massive popularity among younger audiences. And that's how her fourth album, Red, was born. It became a major success, mostly thanks to We Are Never Ever Getting Back Together, which was her first Billboard Hot 100 #1 song. To emphasize her new course, Taylor moved to New York. Yet despite changing her image from a girl next door to an energetic pop star, Taylor still based the lyrics of her songs on stories from her previous relationships. There's nothing unusual in that. Other artists like Ed Sheeran do the same thing, but somehow the media branded Taylor as a psycho girlfriend who's unable to get over her past boyfriends. As a response, Taylor released in 2014 a satirical song titled Blank Space, which told the story of a jealous woman with anger issues who acts erratically upon suspecting her male lover's infidelity. It gained critics' praise and became one of the best-selling singles of 2015. According to Forbes, Taylor's wealth back then oscillated around $200 million. Yet now we've come to the point where everything fell apart. Despite the VMA's 2009 controversy, Kanye and Taylor became somewhat friends in the middle of the last decade. But everything changed in 2016 when Kanye showcased to the world his newest song, Famous, with the controversial lyrics,
I feel like me and Taylor might still have sex. Why? I made that bitch famous.
A few days had passed, and upon accepting her Grammy for Album of the Year, Taylor said, "As the first woman to win Album of the Year at the Grammys twice, I want to say to all the young women out there are going to be people along the way who will try to undercut your success or take credit for your accomplishments or your fame. If you just focus on the work and you don't let those people sidetrack you, someday, when you get where you're going, you'll look around and you'll know it was you and the people that you love who put you there. And that will be the greatest feeling in the world. Thank you for this moment. These words were an obvious reference to Kanye's Famous. After some time, more facts had come to light. It turned out that Kanye had phoned Taylor before the Famous debut, asking her if she approved of the lyrics that mentioned sex with her. Taylor had agreed to that, but wasn't informed about the actual lyrics calling her a bitch. Nevertheless, a sizable portion of the internet came out in favor of Kanye, with people calling Taylor a snake that always plays the victim. This is a classic example of the phenomena that Oprah called fallen celebrity syndrome. When a celebrity falls, we take some sort of comfort in it because it proves everyone suffers in life. And so Taylor disappeared from public life for an entire year. In the fall of 2017, she started posting on her social media mysterious pictures of snakes, and on November 10th, her new album called Reputation was released. Its singles like Look What You Made Me Do and Ready for It took the story of her recent transformation, thanks to which she finally decided to stop caring what others think of her. In the message to her fans, she said, "You shouldn't care so much if you feel misunderstood by a lot of people who don't know you, as long as you feel understood by the people who do know you. Thank you for taking the time to get to know me, for sticking up for me." And that's how the new Taylor Swift was born. After the Reputation release, she started sharing her political views with fans and even made a collaboration with Dixie Chicks. Reputation was her last work made in collaboration with Big Machine. In 2018, she signed a contract with Republic Records, and in the same year was named the most influential person on Twitter despite tweeting only 13 times. With a new label, she came back for a moment to her country music roots with the next album, Lover. In 2020's Folklore and Evermore, she experimented with lyrics based not only on personal experiences, but rather on fictional ones, often described from the third-person narrative. The 10th and latest album, Midnights, was released on October 21st, 2022, and became the fastest-selling album of the year in just 3 days. Currently, Taylor is busy re-recording her old albums so that she'll own their masters. This decision came as a result of her former record label selling her back catalog, which had left her with no control over how these songs are being used. The old saying goes that fame is short-lived, but Taylor Swift, with her 18 years old career, has proven that it doesn't always have to be this way. Only in the last year, she made a whopping $52 million. Taylor's parents have likewise significantly contributed to her success by investing in the development of their daughter's passions and constantly looking for opportunities that would allow her to make a name for herself in show business. Also, she wouldn't have made it this far if it weren't for her great relationship with loyal fans, who haven't left her even in the most difficult situations. To sum it all up, she came up with something unique to reach fame. To maintain fame, she pursues trends. And when her fame couldn't grow any further, she started to set trends herself. And that's the story about how Taylor Swift made her millions. Let us know in the comments what you think about it. Be sure to like and subscribe for more content about famous entrepreneurs and how they got rich. Who knows, maybe you'll also be featured here one day. Thanks for watching, and see you next time.